If you're planning on taking your driving test soon, watch this, because the game has changed and what you're practicing now might not be enough. In a nutshell, they are making the practical driving tests more realistic, and no, that doesn't mean that your examiner is going to be taking you through the McDonald's drive-thru at midnight, unless he is genuinely insatiably hungry. The DVSA, the Driver and Vehicle Standards Agency, they have updated how they're going to be structuring the practical tests, and there are 3 key changes that have been made. Emergency stop exercises are going to be a lot less frequent. There's going to be an emergency stop, 1 in every 7 tests, roughly, when there used to be 1 in every 3. Maybe you won't be asked to do an emergency stop, unless you're that 1 in every 7 people. And thirdly, there's going to be extended flexibility for the independent driving portion of the test. That portion of the test might now run for a longer period of the test, and it could potentially run for the entire test, but that depends on route and road access. Anyway, those are your 3 key things to look out for in the all-new driving test from the DVSA. Why the changes? Why change it now? So, there has been a trial running for the past 5 months, including around 20 test centres across the UK. Goal of the trial was to better reflect, in quotations, real-world driving conditions, and that includes rural and high-speed roads rather than just replicating slow and urban roads. There are statistics that back this up. It's all being done for a reason. A high proportion of serious crashes involving young drivers are happening on these rural and high-speed roads. So the idea is that by giving them more exposure before they get the licence, these numbers are going to come down and everyone's going to be safer on the roads. And overall, the DVSA's main aim with all of this is to just make sure that new drivers get more experience in real-world situations before they get out there independently on the road, instead of just city centre driving and test centre driving. Most of it is staying the same. I did clickbait you with the title, just because I needed your views. If you could like this video and follow the channel, that would be amazing. Come and pass your test with Pass and Go. Overall length of the test, staying the same. Licence outcomes remains unchanged. It's still going to be your standard practical test. The core manoeuvres and skills that are being assessed, they're staying exactly the same. You've got your ability to control the car, hazard awareness, general competence, all staying the same. And I don't know where you live, maybe the test centre local to you doesn't have access to these high-speed and rural roads. Your test is going to stay pretty much exactly the same. There's going to be not really any visible difference for now with your driving test. Until, of course, the infrastructure allows for it. So what does it mean for learners? How do you adjust your preparation for your driving test? What should you be doing? What should you be doing differently? Well, you may need to adjust your practice. You may need to be doing more driving on A roads, rural roads, dual carriageways, just to get comfortable with the speed, the traffic, different hazard types, overtaking, and navigation. Also, you're going to have to be prepared for a longer independent driving portion of the test. Try and get comfortable following a sat-nav, following traffic signs, because the instructor is going to be less likely to hold your hand going forwards, unless you're asking to very nicely. The examiner is going to be relying on you to execute good judgment, speed awareness, lane discipline, and a much broader hazard perception. If you go on for your test and this feels like a lot of information to take in, the main thing to remember is that the test is now more about real driving, so that you're not just practicing to pass on a specific test route. Now you are fully learning how to drive a car, and you can drive one anywhere. That's the aim. And who's this going to benefit in the long run? Well, that's you and me and everybody in the whole world. It's going to reduce accident risk, because all of these new drivers out on the road, they're going to have real world experience. They're going to know what it is to drive, what it is to drive a man to madness, to drive everyday driving situations. If you do live in a place where most of your driving practice has been carried out in kind of city centres, slow moving traffic, that sort of thing, that you're the person who's going to have to make adjustments, and you're going to have to incorporate more of these rural and high-speed roads into your practice. But your driving instructor knows this, especially your PNG driving instructor knows this. If you do live in a place where your test centre doesn't have access to these high-speed rural routes, then it's not going to change straight away until the infrastructure allows. So just to recap, the big changes that are going on: fewer planned stops during the test. Your examiner's not going to be pulling you over at the side of the road all the time, asking you questions, making you do stuff. It's going to be much more, you drive the car, he observes, or she observes, or they observe. Less emergency stops. That'll be saving all those examiners' necks across the country. And you're going to be doing a lot more independent driving. In fact, it's worded here, extended flexibility for the independent driving portion of the test. So if you're into yoga or anything like that, I'm sure that's going to help you out massively. So if you're learning to drive, you're thinking about going for your test, make sure that you're practicing on all different kinds of roads. Remember, rural roads, high-speed roads, get that experience, get the experience independently driving, following the road signs, following a sat-nav, following the voices inside of your head. Anything but the voice of the examiner, because he's not going to be holding your hand through the test anymore. And just final closing thoughts. This is going to be a good thing for everyone, because people are going to be learning how to drive in a much more full and complete way, rather than parrot fashion, learning a test route that you've drove down a million times. Now when you get yourself into a situation in which you're unfamiliar with the road, you're unfamiliar with the road signs, what's going on, maybe you're getting a bit panicky, that's going to happen less once you get your license and you're out there on the roads. When issues arise and you've got your green peas on your car, you're going to be much better prepared in the future. As much as the tests evolve, safe driving depends on real world experience. Anyway, that's enough about me. Are you about to take your test? Are you learning how to drive? Have you already learned how to drive? Are you a driving instructor? Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. Like, subscribe, do all of the things, and we'll see you next PNG.